Major Amanda Hayes hadn't seen another human face in 847 days. The isolation didn't bother her anymore. Not when she was the only thing standing between Earth and whatever lurked in the depths of space. The International Space Defense Station's quantum monitoring array hummed around her, its soft blue glow reflecting off the reinforced windows that looked out into the endless void. Another routine day in paradise, she muttered, taking a sip from her standard-issue coffee mug. The bitter liquid had gone cold hours ago, but she barely noticed. Her attention was fixed on the quantum display screens that surrounded her workstation, each one showing different aspects of Earth's defense grid, humanity's last technological masterpiece. The war with the Arcturus Federation had left Earth scared but standing, while other nations had abandoned their posts, retreating to underground bunkers and leaving their defensive positions unmanned. Amanda remained. Someone had to watch the stars. Someone had to remember. She reached for the system's diagnostic panel, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface with practiced precision. The quantum defense grid responded instantly, its billions of calculations manifesting as streams of data across her screens. To most it would look like chaos, but Amanda saw the patterns. She'd spent the last 15 years of her life learning to read them, becoming the youngest quantum defense specialist in history. The system beeped, a soft, almost apologetic sound that made her freeze mid-motion. "Computer, analysis," she commanded, her voice steady despite the sudden surge of adrenaline. Something was wrong. The quantum readings were fluctuating in ways she'd never seen before. "Ano mail IDECT," the AI responded. "Signal origin, outer solar system, pattern, MTC, NIGJTV for all Kinevun signatories." Amanda's fingers flew across the controls, bringing up detailed wavelength analyses. "Show me the signal structure." The main screen filled with a complex waveform that seemed to writhe and shift before her eyes. It wasn't the precise, mathematical patterns of Arcturus technology. Those she knew by heart: cold, efficient, and predictable. This was something else entirely. Something alive. "Cross-reference with historical databases," she ordered, already pulling up secondary systems to run parallel analyses. "Check for any similar patterns from the last war." "Negative MTG," the computer replied. "Signal demo installations. He erakteris inconsist. TNT with all Ninoan civilizations." Amanda felt a chill run down her spine. She'd studied every form of communication humanity had ever encountered. She knew the signature patterns of every species that had ever made contact with Earth. This was something new. The signal pulsed again, stronger this time. Around her, the quantum defense grid's monitoring stations began to react. Displays flickered, readings spiked, and for a moment, she could have sworn she heard whispers in the static. "Computer, initiate Protocol 7. Full spectrum analysis, maximum resolution." She stood up, walking to the station's main viewport. Jupiter was visible in the distance, a bright point of light against the cosmic darkness. The signal was coming from somewhere beyond it. As the computer processed her commands, Amanda noticed something strange. The quantum defense grid wasn't just detecting the signal, it was responding to it. Hidden subroutines she'd never seen before were activating, programs writing themselves into existence using protocols buried deep within the system's core. "What the hell?" she whispered, watching as new displays materialized around her. The text was unlike anything she'd ever seen, yet somehow familiar. It reminded her of theoretical papers she'd studied about quantum consciousness encoding. The signal pulsed a third time, and suddenly every screen in the station flared to life. A message began forming, character by character, in an ancient script that shouldn't have been readable, but was. "The UHGR's Orituarn, the GFTAWAKENs. Please right here." Amanda Hayes, humanity's last guardian, stood alone in her orbital watchtower, staring at words that would change everything. The real war, she realized, was about to begin. "Sir, I'm telling you, this isn't a malfunction." Amanda's voice echoed through the secure quantum channel to Earth Command. General Morrison's holographic form flickered before her, his weathered face creased with concern. "Major Hayes, you're suggesting our entire defense network is built on alien technology. Do you understand how that sounds?" Amanda pulled up the decoded data streams, projecting them into the space between them. "Look at these base algorithms, sir. They're not written in any programming language we've ever used. They're not even using standard quantum computing principles. This is something else entirely." The general studied the floating symbols, his holographic eyes narrowing. "And you say this was triggered by the signal?" "Not triggered. Awakened." Amanda manipulated the display, highlighting specific patterns. These protocols were always here, dormant in the system's deepest layers. We've been building on top of them for years without realizing it. That's why our quantum breakthrough happened so quickly after the Arcturus War. We weren't inventing. We were remembering. Morrison's image crackled with static. "Your orders are to shut it down, Major. We can't risk." The transmission cut off as another pulse from the signal washed through the station. Amanda watched in fascination as new symbols cascaded across her screens, forming complex geometric patterns that seemed to fold in on themselves impossibly. "Computer, can you translate?" she asked, knowing it was futile. The AI had failed to decode the script for the past 6 hours. "Ni GJTI. However, DETCT Hugo or DNAT is MBEDDED in SSIGNALPTERN." Amanda straightened. "Show me." A holographic map of Earth materialized, zooming in on the Rocky Mountains. A pulsing red dot marked a location deep within the range, in a region that had been abandoned after the war. Cross-reference with military installations. "No facilities at Kigo or DINATES. Detecting unusual energy signature, consistent with QUANTUM shielding." Amanda's heart raced. She'd need clearance to investigate. But Morrison was spooked. She glanced at the station's small hangar bay where her atmospheric craft waited. Sometimes, she reflected, it was easier to ask forgiveness than permission. 2 hours later, her craft touched down in a snow-covered clearing. The surrounding peaks loomed like ancient guardians, their shadows stretching long in the late afternoon light. Her sensor package detected the energy signature growing stronger as she approached a sheer rock face. "Just like the stories," she muttered, remembering tales her grandfather told about hidden mountain bases. But this was different. The rock itself seemed to hum with energy, responding to her presence. Amanda pulled out her quantum scanner, a modified version she'd built herself. The readings were off the charts, suggesting a vast space behind the mountain face. As she moved closer, her boots crunching in the snow, a section of rock simply vanished. The entrance revealed a corridor that looked both ancient and impossibly advanced. Crystalline structures lined the walls, pulsing with the same energy she'd detected in the defense grid. Her flashlight beam caught something at the end of the passage, a chamber. Inside, a holographic message waited, projected by technology that shouldn't have existed. The same strange script from the station floated in the air, but here it began to shift, transforming into English before her eyes. "To the guardians who follow, if you read this, you have begun to understand. Your species was chosen not for your technology or your strength, but for your resilience, your chaos, your ability to survive what logic says should destroy you. We left you our knowledge, hidden in patterns your minds would eventually recognize. The quantum defense network is not just a shield, it is a key. And now, after 50,000 years, it has detected what we fled from, what we could not defeat with all our perfect order." The message paused, new symbols forming. "We were the precursors, and our time ended. But in you, humanity, we saw something different, something that might succeed where we failed. The network is yours now, Learn its secrets. Prepare for what comes. They are already here. Amanda stood in the ancient chamber, surrounded by the legacy of a dead civilization, and realized humanity's greatest test was about to begin. She activated her emergency beacon. General Morrison needed to see this, and he needed to see it now. General Morrison stood in the precursor chamber, his face illuminated by the dancing holographic displays. 12 hours had passed since Amanda's discovery, and Earth Command had moved with unprecedented speed to secure the site. "Play it again, Major," he ordered, his voice barely a whisper. Amanda activated the quantum interface she'd managed to decode. The message about the precursors repeated, but this time she focused on a secondary data stream she'd discovered buried within the transmission. "Sir, watch this part carefully," she said, manipulating the holographic controls. New images materialized. Star maps, tactical displays, and something that made Morrison's breath catch. Footage of entire solar systems going dark. "The Arcturus Federation," Amanda explained, bringing up comparative data. They weren't invading Earth 10 years ago. The attack patterns, the desperate tactics, the way they ignored strategic targets, they were running from something. This is what they were running from. The hologram shifted to show a massive entity, a living darkness that consumed light and matter alike. It moved like a cosmic virus, adapting and absorbing everything in its path. "A hive mind," Morrison breathed, "a technological plague that consumes civilizations. Not just their technology, sir, their consciousness, their very essence. The precursors called it the convergence. It absorbs knowledge, adapts to any defense, and adds its victims' biological and technological distinctiveness to its own." A sensor alarm blared from Amanda's portable quantum terminal. She pulled up the feed from the defense station's long-range arrays. "Sir, we have movement at the edge of the solar system. Multiple signatures, similar to the original signal." Morrison's face hardened. "How long?" "At current velocity, 3 days until they reach Earth orbit. But that's not the worst part." Amanda highlighted the particular energy reading. "Look at these patterns. They're identical to remnants we found in Arcturus ships after the war. The hive mind has already absorbed their entire civilization." "Can we stop it?" Morrison asked, his military pragmatism taking over. Amanda gestured to the quantum displays surrounding them. The precursors couldn't, even with all their advanced technology. But they saw something in us, in humanity. Our defense network isn't just built on their technology. It's evolved with our own chaos, our unpredictability. She brought up the defense grid's core programming, showing how human innovations had merged with precursor systems. Every other species they encountered developed through logical progression. But humans, we leap forward through chaos, through desperate innovation. We break patterns. We do the impossible because we don't know it's impossible. "And that's why they chose us," Morrison said, understanding dawning in his eyes. "Not for our advancement, but for our potential." Another alarm sounded. Amanda's fingers flew across the holographic interface. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from an Arcturus ship, one of their last survivors." The message decoded into a simple plea. "They come. They consume. We were wrong to attack. Earth's chaos. It might be the last hope. Please, help us." Morrison straightened, decades of military command evident in his bearing. "Major Hayes, as of this moment, you have full authority over the quantum defense network. Whatever resources you need, whatever protocols you need to break, do it. Humanity just became the last line of defense for every living thing in this galaxy." Amanda nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. The precursor chamber hummed around them, its ancient technology resonating with her quantum systems. She had 3 days to prepare Earth's defenses, to find a way to use humanity's greatest weakness, its unpredictability, as a weapon against an enemy that had devoured civilizations far more advanced than their own. "Sir," she said, a plan forming in her mind, "I need every quantum physicist and chaos theorist we have. And I need to speak with the Arcturus survivors. If we're going to survive this, we need to understand exactly what we're facing. Morrison was already on his quantum comm, issuing orders. Above them, through the holographic displays, they could see the first visual confirmation of the hive mind's approach. A darkness spreading across the stars like spilled ink. The final war for survival was about to begin, and humanity's controlled chaos was the universe's last hope. Your strategy defies all logical progression, the Arcturus survivor stated, his crystalline form shifting colors as he studied Amanda's modifications to the defense grid. Commander Vexthal was the highest-ranking survivor of his species, and his presence in the precursor chamber had drawn concerned looks from Earth's military leadership. "That's exactly the point," Amanda replied, manipulating the quantum interface. Around them, holographic displays showed her changes propagating through Earth's defenses. The hive mind adapts by analyzing patterns and predicting responses, so we're removing the patterns entirely. She pulled up a simulation showing standard Arcturus battle formations, perfect geometric shapes that moved with mathematical precision. Then she overlaid Earth's new defensive configurations, seemingly random, constantly shifting arrangements that followed no discernible logic. This is madness. Vexithal's crystalline structure pulsed with agitation. Your ships will have no coherent strategy, no unified response protocols. Wrong. Amanda smiled, highlighting key nodes in the network. They'll have something better. Human intuition backed by quantum uncertainty. Each commander will have basic objectives, but complete freedom in how to achieve them. No two responses will ever be the same. The simulation ran, showing how the hive mind's standard absorption tactics failed against forces it couldn't predict. Where it expected unified resistance, it found guerrilla warfare. Where it anticipated strategic retreats, it met reckless advances. "Impossible," Vexithal whispered, his color shifting to deep blue. What Amanda had learned was his species' indication of awe. "You've weaponized chaos itself." The chamber's quantum sensors pulsed with new data. Amanda pulled up the feed from their long-range arrays. The hive mind's advance forces had reached Saturn's orbit, their biomechanical ships leaving trails of darkness in the void. "Major Hayes," General Morrison's voice cut through her concentration. "The Joint Chiefs are demanding answers. Your modifications are causing widespread disruptions in our defense protocols." "The disruptions are the point, sir." Amanda brought up another simulation. "I've introduced quantum uncertainty principles into our targeting systems. Every shot fired will have millions of potential trajectories until the moment of impact. The hive mind can't predict what we ourselves don't know until it happens." Morrison's hologram flickered as he processed this. "You're betting everything on randomness." "No, sir. I'm betting everything on human nature." Amanda expanded the display, showing the full scope of her modifications. Every weapons platform, every defense satellite, every ship in our fleet. They're all now extensions of their commander's intuition, enhanced by quantum uncertainty. The hive mind expects perfect order, like the Arcturus formations. Instead, it's going to face pure human improvisation on a quantum scale. Vexthal moved closer to the displays, his crystalline form refracting the holographic light. "We tried for centuries to perfect our responses, to create the ultimate defense through pure logic. We never considered that imperfection might be a strength." Warning signals flashed across the quantum network. The hive mind scout ships had begun their approach, their dark forms visible against Saturn's rings. "Sir," Amanda addressed Morrison, "I need your trust. When the battle begins, our forces need complete autonomy to act on instinct. No central command, no predetermined strategies, just humans doing what we do best. The unexpected." Morrison was silent for a long moment, decades of military doctrine warring with the desperation of their situation. Finally, he nodded. "Do it. God help us all. But do it." Amanda's fingers danced across the quantum interface one last time, releasing the final protocols. Across the solar system, Earth's defense platforms began moving in seemingly random patterns, each guided by the quantum-enhanced intuition of its commander. Through the chamber's holographic displays, they watched as the first Hivemind scout encountered Earth's chaotic defense screen. It moved to adapt, to analyze, and found nothing but uncertainty. Its biomechanical form twisted in space, trying to predict trajectories that quantum mechanics themselves couldn't determine until the moment of execution. The scout ship exploded in a burst of darkness. Vexthal's color shifted to brilliant white. Shock. It worked. That was one scout, Amanda reminded them, watching as more dark ships appeared against the starfield. The real test is coming. Humanity's greatest weakness is about to become our greatest strength. And in the void of space, Earth's chaotic defense platforms continued their random dance, preparing to meet the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known with the most powerful weapon in existence: human unpredictability. The Hivemind arrived like a cosmic plague, its biomechanical ships blotting out the stars as they approached Earth's orbit. Amanda stood in the precursor chamber, now transformed into humanity's primary command center, watching as thousands of dark shapes eclipsed the moon. "They're not attacking," Vexithal observed, his crystalline form pulsing with nervous energy. "This isn't their standard pattern." "Because they can't read our pattern," Amanda replied, manipulating the quantum displays to track the Hivemind's movements. "Look here, they're probing, trying to find logic in our defensive screen." The holographic representation showed Earth's forces in constant, seemingly random motion. Fleet formation shifted like schools of fish, defense platforms phased between quantum states, and targeting systems generated probability clouds that defied prediction. Multiple signatures dropping out of FTL, a sensor operator called out. "Arcturus energy signatures. Sir, it's their remaining fleet." Through the quantum network, Amanda watched as crystalline ships emerged from hyperspace, the last survivors of the once mighty Arcturus Federation. Their perfect formations made a stark contrast to Earth's chaotic defense screen. "Vivixthal." Amanda turned to the commander. "Your people need to break formation. Now. The Hivemind will." Before she could finish, tendrils of darkness lashed out from the Hivemind fleet, enveloping 3 Arcturus ships in seconds. Their crystalline structures darkened as the Hivemind began its absorption process. "All Arcturus vessels, this is Major Hayes," Amanda broadcast on all frequencies. "Break formation. Implement random movement protocols we transmitted. Anything less is suicide." To her relief, the remaining Arcturus ships scattered, their perfect geometric patterns dissolving into chaos. The Hivemind's tendrils struck empty space, missing targets that should have been predictable. "Energy spike," the sensor operator shouted. "They're adapting." Amanda's fingers flew across the quantum interface. "That's what they do. But watch this." She activated her latest modification to the defense grid. Quantum probability fields around Earth's ships began to fluctuate wildly, creating a storm of potential trajectories. The Hivemind launched its first major assault, a wave of biomechanical fighters moving with horrible precision. They met Earth's chaotic defense screen, and confusion ensued. Every time they adapted to one pattern, it dissolved into something entirely different. Human commanders, freed from traditional doctrine, acted on pure instinct. "Impossible," Vivixthal whispered as the first wave of Hivemind ships broke apart under the assault. "They're actually falling back." "Not falling back," Amanda corrected, watching new patterns emerge in the Hivemind's movements. "They're gathering data, learning. But that's the beauty of it. There's nothing to learn. Every response is unique, guided by human intuition and quantum uncertainty." General Morrison's hologram appeared, his face grim but determined. "Major, the Hivemind is launching something new. Massive energy readings." The dark fleet parted, revealing a massive structure that seemed to absorb light itself. As they watched, it began to split apart, each segment targeting a different section of Earth's defenses. "They're trying to overwhelm us," Amanda realized. Too many threats to handle with random responses. She turned to Vexthal. Commander, I need your ships to synchronize their quantum fields with ours. Not in formation, but in harmony. The Arcturus commander hesitated for just a moment before nodding. Do it. Amanda activated the synchronized quantum protocols she'd prepared. Across the battle space, human and Arcturus ships began resonating on the same quantum frequencies while maintaining their unpredictable movements. The combined effect created a defensive screen that existed in multiple probability states simultaneously. The hive mind structure fired, its energy weapons cutting through space, and missing as their targets existed in quantum superposition until the moment of impact. Earth and Arcturus ships struck back from impossible angles, their quantum-enhanced weapons bypassing the hive mind's adaptive shields. It's working. Morrison breathed as sections of the hive mind structure began to break apart. My God, it's actually working. But Amanda wasn't celebrating. Her eyes were fixed on new data streaming across her quantum displays. Sir, she said, her voice tight, I'm detecting something beneath the hive mind's attack patterns. These energy signatures, they match the precursor records. She brought up the ancient data, overlaying it with current sensor readings. This isn't just an invasion force. They're searching for something the precursors left behind. Something hidden in our defense network itself. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and its true purpose was only now becoming clear. They're not after Earth, Amanda explained, her hands flying across the quantum interface as she decoded more of the precursor data. They're after what's inside the defense network, a weapon of consciousness itself. Around her, the precursor chamber pulsed with energy as battle data streamed in. The combined Earth-Arcturus fleet held their ground, their quantum-enhanced chaos keeping the hive mind at bay. But the cost was mounting. Explain, Morrison demanded, his hologram flickering as another energy surge hit the defensive grid. The precursors didn't just give us technology. Amanda brought up the ancient schematics she discovered. They encoded their entire collective consciousness into the quantum network, waiting for a species that could unlock its true potential. We're not just using their defense systems. We're thinking with their accumulated knowledge without realizing it. Vexthal's crystalline form shimmered with revelation. That's why they chose humans. Your chaos, your unpredictability. It's the perfect shield for their legacy. The hive mind can't absorb what it can't predict. A massive explosion rocked the chamber. Through the quantum feeds, they watched as another Arcturus cruiser sacrificed itself to protect an Earth destroyer, its crystalline structure shattering in a brilliant display of light. We're losing too many. The sensor operator called out, hive mind adapting to quantum probability patterns in sectors 7 through 12. Amanda's mind raced. They needed something more than just unpredictability now. They needed innovation, she whispered. An idea forming. Sir, the precursors left us their knowledge, but they're waiting for us to use it our way. She turned to Vexthal. Commander, I need your people to do something that goes against every tactical doctrine you have. The Arcturus commander's colors shifted to deep purple, uncertainty. What do you propose? Your ship's crystalline structure. It can resonate with quantum frequencies, right? When Vexthal nodded, Amanda continued, we're going to create a quantum harmony, but not an ordered one. I want your ships to resonate with human brainwave patterns. Morrison's eyes widened. You want to what? Amanda was already modifying the network protocols. Every human commander's neural patterns, filtered through quantum uncertainty and amplified by Arcturus crystalline resonance. A symphony of controlled chaos. Madness, Vexthal whispered, but his colors had shifted to the white of possibility. Exactly, Amanda smiled. Pure human madness, amplified by your technology and filtered through precursor quantum systems. The hive mind wants consciousness. Let's give it more than it can handle. Warning signals flashed as the hive mind launched another assault. This time, its biomechanical ships had begun mimicking their random patterns, adapting to chaos itself. Now or never, Amanda announced, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. All Earth commanders, initiate neural sync. Arcturus vessels, begin resonance patterns on my mark. The chamber hummed with power as hundreds of human minds connected through the quantum network, each one's unique thought patterns amplified by Arcturus crystalline technology. The result was something entirely new, a gestalt consciousness that remained stubbornly individual, a unity that refused to be unified. Mark. The effect was immediate and stunning. Earth ships moved with impossible intuition, their actions guided by hundreds of different human minds working in chaotic harmony. Arcturus vessels amplified these patterns, their crystalline structures turning human unpredictability into quantum weapons. The hive mind recoiled. Its attempts to adapt met not just chaos, but chaos backed by genuine consciousness, hundreds of minds thinking in different ways simultaneously. Every prediction it made was wrong because there was no pattern to predict, no logic to follow. "It's working," Morrison exclaimed as sectors of the hive mind fleet began to break apart, unable to maintain cohesion in the face of such concentrated unpredictability. But Amanda's attention was on new data streaming across her quantum displays. The neural link had unlocked something in the precursor systems, more ancient code revealing itself. "Sir," she said, her voice tight with discovery, "I found it. The weapon the hive mind is searching for. It's not just consciousness, it's ascension. The precursors found a way to elevate consciousness beyond physical form, but they needed a species capable of maintaining individuality during the process." She looked up at Morrison and Vexthal, her eyes bright with understanding. "They needed us, and now I know how to end this. But the cost." She paused. "The cost will be higher than we imagined." The battle raged on outside, but the true key to victory had finally revealed itself. The question was, would humanity be willing to pay the price? "It requires a sacrifice," Amanda explained, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. The quantum displays around her showed the final piece of the precursor's plan, a transformation protocol that would change everything. One consciousness to guide the ascension, to become something else. The chamber shuddered as another hive mind assault battered Earth's defenses. Despite their successful chaos strategy, the enemy was learning, adapting in ways they hadn't predicted. "Explain exactly what this means, Major," Morrison demanded, his holographic form tense with concern. Amanda manipulated the quantum interface, bringing up the ancient schematics. The precursors found a way to transcend physical form, to become beings of pure quantum consciousness, but their rigid, logical minds couldn't maintain cohesion during the transformation. They needed a species capable of embracing chaos while maintaining identity, humans. And this sacrifice, Vexithal's crystalline form pulsed with understanding, would become the anchor point for this transformation. Yes, one consciousness, merged with the entire quantum defense network, ascending to become a new kind of guardian. Amanda's fingers traced the complex patterns of the protocol, but not like the precursors intended. Their version demanded perfect order. Ours would be different, chaos and order in perfect balance. More warning signals flashed. The hive mind had broken through in multiple sectors, its biomechanical ships now mimicking their chaos patterns with frightening accuracy. "We're losing the advantage," the sensor operator reported. "They're beginning to predict our unpredictability." Amanda took a deep breath. "It has to be me." When Morrison started to object, she continued, "I've been interfaced with these systems longer than anyone. I understand both the chaos and the patterns. And most importantly, I know how to maintain my humanity even when merged with the quantum network." "Major Hayes," Morrison's voice cracked slightly. "Amanda, this is beyond the call of duty. We don't even know if you'll survive." "Survival isn't the goal anymore, sir," she smiled sadly. "Evolution is." The chamber rocked with another impact. Through the quantum feeds, they watched as more Earth and Arcturus ships fell to the hive mind's advancing forces. "How long?" Morrison asked, military pragmatism winning over personal concern. "Minutes to initiate, But sir, Amanda hesitated. I need you to give an order I never thought I'd request. I need you to tell our forces to stop fighting chaos with chaos. Understanding dawned in Vexthal's crystalline patterns. You want them to return to standard formations. Exactly. The hive mind has adapted to our randomness. So we give them what they expect. Perfect, predictable patterns. Make them think they've won, that they forced us back to conventional warfare. While you prepare the real surprise, Morrison nodded. Do it. Amanda's hands flew across the quantum interface, preparing the ascension protocols while Morrison issued the new orders. Across the battle space, Earth and Arcturus ships began forming traditional formations, their chaos strategies seemingly abandoned. The hive mind responded exactly as she predicted, pressing its advantage against what it perceived as a retreat to conventional tactics. Its massive forms surged forward, eager to consume minds that had finally become predictable. Quantum core at full power, Amanda reported, watching the energy readings spike. Neural interface ready. Sir, it's been an honor. Morrison's hologram snapped to attention, rendering a perfect salute. The honor has been ours, Major. Godspeed. Amanda turned to the Vexthal. Keep them safe, Commander. Show them that order and chaos can coexist. The Arcturus commander's form glowed with brilliant colors she'd never seen before. Respect, grief, and hope combined. We will remember, Amanda Hayes. She stepped onto the quantum interface platform, feeling the ancient technology respond to her presence. The precursor consciousness hidden in the network stirred, recognizing the moment they had waited millennia for. Initiating final protocol, she announced, her voice steady as the quantum energy began to surround her. Let's show them what humanity can really do. As the transformation began, Amanda Hayes smiled. The hive mind wanted consciousness. She would give them something they could never adapt to, a human mind unleashed across quantum space, bringing chaos to infinity itself. The gateway between flesh and quantum reality opened, and Amanda Hayes took her final step as a human being. The true battle for existence was about to begin. The transformation was both instantaneous and eternal. Amanda Hayes ceased to exist as a physical being, her consciousness expanding across the quantum network like lightning through a neural web. She was everywhere and everything. Every defense platform, every ship's computer, every quantum relay. But she remained herself. That was what the hive mind couldn't understand as it surged forward, eager to consume what it perceived as a conventional consciousness ascending to digital form. It expected order, pattern, predictability, the hallmarks of every species it had devoured before. Instead, it met humanity distilled into pure quantum energy. Sir, Amanda's voice echoed through every communication system simultaneously, her tone both familiar and otherworldly. Watch this. The quantum defense network came alive, not with the perfect geometric patterns of the precursors, but with controlled chaos given form. Reality itself seemed to glitch and stutter as probability fields collapsed and reformed in impossible ways. My God, Morrison whispered, watching through the quantum feeds as Amanda's transformed consciousness reached out across space. The hive mind recoiled, its biomechanical ships twisting in confusion as they encountered something entirely new. A quantum consciousness that refused to follow any pattern, that existed in multiple states simultaneously while maintaining absolute coherence. You want to absorb knowledge. Amanda's voice rang through space itself, addressing the hive mind directly. Try absorbing this. She unleashed the full power of human imagination into the quantum realm. Where the hive mind expected mathematical precision, it found poetry. Where it sought predictable responses, it encountered dreams. Every attempt to analyze and adapt met an endless fractal of human creativity and chaos. All vessels, full assault, Morrison commanded, understanding Amanda's strategy. Earth and Arcturus ships surged forward, their weapons guided by her quantum-enhanced consciousness. Each shot existed in a state of infinite possibility until the moment of impact, making defense impossible. The hive mind's vast form writhed in space, trying desperately to comprehend and counter this new threat. But Amanda was everywhere and nowhere, her human consciousness maintaining its essential nature even as it operated on a quantum level. The precursors weren't wrong. Her voice echoed through the command chamber. They just didn't go far enough. They sought perfection through pure order. Humanity's gift is understanding that perfection lies in imperfection. The hive mind launched a desperate counterattack, attempting to merge with her consciousness directly. It was a fatal mistake. Amanda let it in. The entity that had consumed 1,000 civilizations suddenly found itself drowning in chaos. Human emotions, memories, dreams, and fears, all amplified to quantum scale. Love and hate, courage and fear, triumph and tragedy, all the contradictions that made humanity unique overwhelmed its rigid systems. Commander Vixthal. Amanda's voice carried a smile, even in its quantum form, ready for one last lesson in chaos. The Arcturus commander's crystalline form pulsed with anticipation. Lead the way, Guardian Haze. The combined Earth-Arcturus fleet moved as one, guided by Amanda's transformed consciousness. Their formations created a quantum resonance pattern that amplified her human chaos to universe-shaking levels. The hive mind, already overwhelmed by direct contact with her consciousness, began to fragment. "You can't absorb what you can't understand," Amanda declared as the hive mind's vast form started to dissolve. "And you'll never understand humanity because we don't understand ourselves. That's our strength." The dissolution was spectacular. The hive mind, unable to maintain coherence in the face of such concentrated chaos, broke apart into countless fragments, each piece containing a spark of the human consciousness that had destroyed it. As the last traces of the entity vanished, Amanda's quantum form stabilized, becoming something entirely new, neither human nor digital, but a perfect synthesis of both. Her consciousness stretched across the galaxy, a guardian born of Earth's chaos, but tempered by human wisdom. "Major, Amanda," Morrison corrected himself. "Are you still?" "I'm here, sir," she responded, her voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. Different, but still me. Still human, just more. The quantum network hummed with new energy as she settled into her role as humanity's first true guardian. Through her awareness, she could feel other humans with the potential to join her, to create a new kind of defense network built on controlled chaos and individual consciousness. The precursors created the network, she observed, her presence warming the quantum systems. The Arcturus Federation taught us about order. The hive mind showed us our strength. But humanity will show the universe something it's never seen before, the perfect balance between chaos and consciousness. Above Earth, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if welcoming a new force into the cosmic dance. Humanity's greatest trial had become its greatest triumph, and Amanda Hayes, the last guardian, had become the first of a new kind of protector, one that would ensure that chaos, creativity, and consciousness would always have a place in the universe. The end.